Welcome to Idea Success TV. Idea Success TV is your videocast that focuses on trends, practices, and solutions for moving ideas to action for both purpose and profit. Hear stories from people who have taken their ideas and brought them to reality to make an income and to impact the world. Be a part of ideation and pitch sessions. Learn about business trends and discover best practices and innovative ideas for bringing thoughts into reality and plans into action. And now, here's your host, Sylvia Henderson. Hello and welcome to Idea Success TV. I'm Sylvia Henderson, your host. And today, this segment of the show is called, I'm calling it my Connections series, my connection segment, and you'll find out why in a minute. Because in this segment, I've been connecting you with other people who kind of have a large audience and they themselves are connectors. And so I like to introduce and expose you to people who are like that. And my guest today is someone who also who is a connector. So today, my guest is Megan Enriquez of True Conversations. Did I get that right? Yes. True Conversations. I'm thinking True Connections, but no, True Conversations, because you do connect in conversation. And the reason why I asked Megan to be a guest on the show is because well, first of all, she's doing something relating to female entrepreneurs. And that, of course, is really near and dear to my heart. But as I dug into who she is even further, I really love that she is about connecting and about conversations. And because I'm about getting ideas out and implemented, it takes connection and conversation to do just that. So, Megan, welcome to Idea Success TV.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I'm going to do what is kind of the boring thing, but read the bio, or say the bio, so that everybody knows kind of what you're about and who you are. And so, Megan's bio is, soon after the birth of her second child, Megan had what she calls a face plant moment. I love that term, which ignited her to create True Conversations. She's highly sought after to speak with, train, and interview a variety of audiences around the most stigmatized issues of today: communication, leadership, and redefining true success. Megan served as an intervention director at Johns Hopkins University for a clinical trial and is a mother of two. This millennial Asian American entrepreneur who came to America as an infant adoptee earned bachelor's in both exercise science, that's a thing?
It is.
Okay, and psychology from Slippery Rock University. I'm a Pennsylvanian, I know where Slippery Rock is. True Conversations LLC provides a podcast network for businesses to host their own shows around polarizing or stigmatized issues, where we believe that by creating opportunities for understanding, they can achieve social evolution. Whoa, okay, we're going to talk about that. They're hosting their yearly True Conversations live event, kind of annually, and you'll find out about that and how to find out about the upcoming events. And tickets are going to be found at, and you're going to get a website on screen at some point, but it'll be True, oh my goodness, how am I going to say this out loud? Okay, TRUE-She Start Edit. No, She Started It. Oh my gosh, yes, read it. Okay, the movie's called She Started It.
Yes.
So it's true-she-started-it.eventbrite.com. But we're going to lead you to the True Conversations website, because that will have all the updated information no matter when the events are going to take place. So that was sort of a jumbled bio, but hey.
That's life,
We're
right?
unscripted, so Megan, so I'm going to launch right in because half hour goes fast.
Yeah.
True Conversations, what is that all about?
True Conversations is all about connecting transparently with your real life, your real stories in an uplifting and empowering way. Because often we in today's society, transparency is being seen as a larger value. We want to know really who you are. We want to know your humanness. But we also want to learn something and take away something positive from you. So many people are used to maybe sharing all of their stuff, but what are they giving to that person to bring them more hope, help them feel more capable in whatever they're working in their life? And we love to cover the stigmatized issues because we feel they deserve space and they help us understand each other better.
And I'm going to dig down a little bit more on that. But that term, okay, your, what was that moment? Your face plant moment. Okay, tell it. People are like, what is that?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
That is how I describe sort of the hitting rock bottom moments. And we all have experienced them to some degree, whether we knew that that's what was happening at the time or not. Either physically, mentally, spiritually, in some way, we start questioning a lot of what is going on in our life. And for me, right after the birth of my son, physically, mentally, and spiritually, a lot was starting to be in question. My body shut down. We both were really struggling to survive energy-wise, and my organs were really tired from carrying one child and then another child.
Okay.
I had also been living a very stressful lifestyle, trying to keep up and be productive as a female in today's world. And so at that moment, really, very literally laying on the floor of my house most days for about 6 months, wondering, what is this trying to teach me? And some of the insight that came in was finally about how can we better as leaders in our community, in our personal lives, and in business, connect and develop compassion with each other and actually for ourselves as well better. So, yeah.
Okay. And so, because I like spit it out. I like my listeners and viewers to know kind of how did that idea that was up here, how did you get that to take shape and create the True Conversations?
Yeah. Well, that idea wouldn't let me sleep. I always explain to people that it came at a time where it did not make any sense for me to start a new venture. I had already been running one business, had 2 small children at home, had to take care of myself, but it was something that was a compelling tug, and I've learned over my life so far to listen to those tugs and intuition, and a way will happen. So all I had to do was really decide, what can we do now? What can I do with the energy level I have and with the network we have? How can I make this about our community? It's not just what Megan wants to do, it's what we all deserve and want to do together. So last year we started with doing what we could, which was hosting small coffee house shop events where we got together people from very different perspectives around one issue and had true conversations around that. And then about April of last year, we started a podcast channel or network and started having these conversations so we could share them with people all around the country and the globe.
So how do you facilitate in a time that is so contentious and in the world of online posts that after one post, somebody comes back with a vitriolic response and just shuts the whole communication down or accelerates it? How do you facilitate true conversations, especially with sensitive issues?
Yeah. Well, that's actually, that example you just used is exactly why our work is so needed and why we feel really compelled to promote a culture where we're not shutting each other down. In the simplest way, I always tell people and encourage leaders to honor each other. And sometimes they'll come back and say, well, how can I honor someone who thinks something so vehemently different than me? And I said, but every human being deserves a space and time to be listened to. So in true conversations, when you engage with somebody, you have actually no guarantees. You have no guarantee of how they're going to respond to your honestness. And you're also going to have no guarantee that by the end of the conversation, they're going to agree with you or you're going to agree with them. And what we want people to know is that's okay.
Okay.
We still need to be having the conversations. We still need to allow ourselves to be changed by other people. And we can only do that if we're brave enough to be inquisitive about other people and ask the questions that a lot of folks are afraid to ask, but we really want to be asked.
So in your podcast then, and the podcast is called
True Conversations.
Okay.
Yep.
So in that, because do people call in, or you're just having the conversation with whoever you're interviewing
Yes.
or talking to?
We've done most of the time we have a guest or two. And for some of our partner organizations who also host their show, we might have a couple guests, or there might be we might be two co-hosts. So the dynamic can change. We have done a few live recordings as well, where audience can feel free to come on in and ask questions. Those kind of happen less regularly, but we are able to have those conversations with anyone across the globe because we do it virtually.
Okay. So I was thinking, if I'm just sort of watching two people talk, how am I getting my feelings or my thoughts out? So
yeah, one of the best bits of feedback I got was from a mom who started listening to us from the very beginning, and she's a stay-at-home parent. She grew up in really affluent area of a suburb from Philadelphia. And she shared with me about a year into our podcast. I said, how's it been going? Should we focus on anything different? Just getting her feedback. And she said, Megan, the diversity of the topics you bring to the table, like spirituality and religion and politics, things that someone would actually go out of their way nowadays to avoid listening to, because it's all on our network. It's all part of our podcast naturally. She said it has allowed her to be exposed to ideas and concepts she didn't even know she needed to hear yet. So as she's raising children, she wants to have equipped with multiple perspectives, so when her child comes home from school and asks her a very difficult question about someone from a population that she has never actually met, our podcast is now informing her with a little bit of what that experience is like and what she might be able to tell her child. So it's popping the bubble that she had been living in, and that's why we do what we do.
Kind of like TED, where ideas worth sharing.
Yes.
I love that term. So I look about ideas. So how do people find out about the podcast?
They can find us on iTunes as well as Stitcher, which is a podcast app. And the easiest way is really to go to our website, true-conversations.com, and there's two buttons that can link them right to both of those. Yeah.
So at your website, you have something called a transparency report.
Yeah.
What's that about? 'Cause that's a document that can be downloaded, printed, downloaded.
Yeah, so one day I'm sitting and thinking about what else do we have a responsibility to do as this voice and this platform for spreading this true culture. It just felt like, why would a business not want to be transparent about what is going on? And especially as a startup, one of the things I experienced was that if you, say, have an event and you're charging money for tickets, there's a lot of assumptions about where that money might be going. And people who aren't in business don't understand all of maybe the overhead, or if you say you're sharing some of the profits with charity, exactly how much went to charity. So it felt like something that just naturally we should be doing, since being transparent, real, uplifting, and empowering is a core value, not just in what we're producing, but in actually how we manage our entire business. And so on there every year, you're going to see exactly how much revenue, how much the CEO made, how much any volunteers made, were little plugs and shout outs paid for or not. And most of, almost 100% of ours are not paid for. But we want our audience to know that, to develop trust, and to see, and really hold us accountable as well, to make sure we're doing things that we would want everyone to know about.
And so, since you said entrepreneurship and true focus on women entrepreneurs, not excluding guys, but focusing on women, I know I can't find the statistic, but I think I read it on your site plus I heard it at a women's conference that I recently attended, that the number of women who actually reach $1 million business, the percentage,
I don't remember.
okay, it's something really sadly small.
Okay.
It really is sadly small in terms of the number of women who reach $1 million business. But yet we're starting businesses at a higher rate than men. So you look like you've kind of taken the reins to at least promote women in business a little bit. Tell us more about that focus.
Yeah.
And then kind of about this She Started It.
Yeah. So I feel as though the better we can understand ourselves and each other in especially our careers, the more abundance and success we're going to have. And as women in particular, it's a unique challenge because we are sort of at a time where, at least my generation, is overriding a lot of old thoughts and ideas about what it is to be a successful woman from past generations. And there's also younger women coming up the ranks who have different challenges with finding success and defining it. So I always wanted to make sure we were creating space to support each other and actually really understand each other. So when I became a mom, there was a lot of shaming going on in motherhood. And the same thing can happen in business and entrepreneurship. Women might look at each other and say, oh, you're network marketing. Well, that's not a real business. Or, oh, you're an LLC. That's not this. Or, oh, you're a corporate. Oh, you are this. And there's a lot of judgment that can happen. And yet, how are we all going to rise together? By really locking arms, supporting each other no matter what, sharing our resources, and so spreading understanding about why people would choose that journey so that also you can make sure you're in the journey you should be in and you can accelerate at the pace that you want to. So we created annually, last year we did small events, this year we decided to do a big kahuna. Yep.
It'll get bigger as you go along, probably.
For our community. And something that's really dear to me is bringing people together from diverse backgrounds. Someone who grew up as an adoptee from South Korea, but was surrounded by mostly Caucasians, and then moving to Maryland, which is so diverse. My network itself was pretty spread out. So I wanted to create an event that would be inviting enough for people from Howard County, Baltimore County, Anne Arundel County, DC, Virginia, to all come together, have true conversations around what the journey is really like, because the power of true conversations is that it leaves both people feeling a little more human, a little more sane and normal, and most importantly, more capable. And so we're going to be facilitating that at the event with our documentary screening that we're doing and our panel discussion with some local female founders.
Okay, I was going to ask, will there be conversation based on the documentary?
So the documentary is a wonderful look at 5 female tech startups in Silicon Valley and from all over.
That in itself is unique.
It's,
there's a dearth of women in tech.
Yeah.
As we're finding out from major companies that are in trouble right now. Yell out the names.
Yes. So we wanted to shed a light on that journey is what it's really like, that women deserve to be in that space. And then it'll be followed by a panel discussion of local women who I identified as doing something unique that I also want women to know about. So we even are bringing in, and I know a lot of people say, oh no, a politician. We're bringing in a politician, a public servant. Joseline Peña-Melnick has been a House of Delegates member for Prince George's County for 10 years. And she has a beautiful story from her beginnings to why she chose to become a public servant, as well as representation from other journeys and walks of business as well.
People shouldn't be worried about politicians, because they're the ones that influence a lot of business law, a lot of business decisions.
Yeah, and she's changed. She's been a part of creating changes in about 100 different laws, and so as female business owners, entrepreneurs, and
The sky is falling.
yeah, and they're so excited about this. And just citizens, you know, I want to expose people to, again, ideas that they otherwise maybe never have had a chance to have a conversation with someone and ask them what they're doing, and maybe they'll see some part of themselves in that and want to get more involved.
And so if somebody's interested in this event or something similar, they go where? To the website
To our
again?
website, yep,
Okay.
true-conversations.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think what else, what other message do you want to make sure viewers, listeners get from what's in your heart, what's in your, I don't know, what's in your passion?
Oh gosh, it's right. So hard to narrow it down to one. Well, what we're really about, you know, if people don't remember anything other than True Conversations and what do they do, is that we're trying to spread understanding across all different, you know, really human to human. In today's world, people are, I think we all know, our soul's craving connection and understanding. And I grew up as a little child wanting people to understand me and see me for who I was and not what I looked like and not the circumstances of my life. And that taught me, among other life experiences, how important it is to open ourselves up, to share with each other the good times and the bad times, to share our wisdom and perspectives. And the more our globe shrinks and the more our own children and ourselves are going to be exposed to people from all walks of life, that I don't want anyone walking around fearful or hateful. And I think that through True Conversations and understanding each other, even if you don't agree with each other, but honoring each other enough to say, please explain that to me, share with me what you'd want me to know about someone in your shoes, then we at least can all get along at least more peacefully and respectfully.
So what concrete thing, and I'm thinking, okay, so I was a part of the mass of pink hats that massed in DC for the women's march, the women's event, and a lot of, oh yes, we need to. Some follow up, but not as much as we probably would like. And I see other venues and other messages and your messages. And so we can see you, we can watch it, we can listen. But what maybe one concrete thing would you recommend now go do? Because I'm about doing.
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, I would say to put the podcast on your phone and have it be a part of your weekly, whether you're at the gym, you're cleaning the house, you're commuting to work, because I want you to bump into people and scenarios that your life is not going to bring you into. And that's what we get to do for you. So for 45 minutes, allow us to bump you into somebody new. And in your own daily life, the next thing I would say is when you have a feeling like you're scared of somebody for whatever reason, start to become aware of how you're feeling about the people in your surroundings. And if you have fear, if you start to feel uncomfortable, pause and ask yourself, are you going to be brave enough today to go up and just introduce yourself to that person? Try to overcome that and open up a conversation. See them as an equal, as a human being. See them as an equal. The more you do that, the more your children are going to start to understand that no matter what they see on the news, no matter what they see in the movies or on television, some are perpetuating prejudices and stigmas, that people are people. And so I think we have a responsibility to be the first ones to walk up to someone and ask them a question that's uncomfortable, or to just say hello. And they will reciprocate most likely. And even if they don't, you've done a wonderful thing by just treating them as an equal.
It's like pay it forward.
Yeah, and it really does. It will spread.
Cool. Like I said, 30 minutes goes fast, and we're almost out of time. I want to make sure people know, once again, how to reach you, how to find out about all of your programs, your platform, your podcast. And so that's true, you said true-conversations.com, and it's on the screen. She started it, I'm thrilled. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
Because
Great.
because I'm partly in a world of connecting, of teaching entrepreneurs how to connect with and how to present to investors, and to see female founders and how they made it, or are trying to make it, because I wonder if you ever make it.
Right, that's a fault.
You know,
That's
I
a
know.
lie, right? And especially as an ambitious woman, you're always going to keep pushing yourself and elevating to the next thing. Yeah.
And what do you tell your kids about the world? I mean, you're a mom now. And so
Yeah.
what do you tell your kids to deal with the world as it is?
Yeah. We really stress in our family, and again, it was something that I learned after I had my son, is to first and foremost take care of yourself. Self-care, to know your boundaries, know your limits, know how to express that to another person, so that you can stay as true to who you are and what your needs are. And then from that healthy place, you can go out into the world and that is what allows you to be kind and patient and understanding to other people. If you're stressed out and burnt out, there's very little ability for you then to have a deep, meaningful, challenging conversation with somebody. So we do it on a regular basis. Just the other day, we were at a restaurant and a police officer came in. And my daughter doesn't watch the news. She doesn't know how the world feels about police officers right now, but
Part of the world.
Part of the world feels about them. Yes.
Yeah.
And but I wanted to make sure that she, no matter what the world she grows up in, that she still feels comfortable and that they're going to be an ally and safety. So we went up and we just thanked him for his service. And she had no idea what it was about, but just small things like that. Treat people how you want your kids to treat people.
Cool. I just was introduced to a young lady the other day. She's like 13, 14. She learned how to sew from YouTube.
Cool.
She's making teddy bears
Awesome.
made out of fallen officers' uniforms
Wow.
for the family.
Wow.
Mainly the kid in that officer's family. So it truly is. It's showing appreciation. It's doing something at a young age.
Yeah, because we can keep fighting, right? We can keep saying, well, I'm right and you're wrong. And that's really never going, at the end of the day, that's never going to move us as a society. When you're talking about social evolution and why that's important to us, it's never going to move us forward and to progress. So they have to do something different. We have to open up and say, I invite you into this conversation. And even if they don't invite you back, you've done good. You've done something to help our community.
Well, thank you for having this conversation
You're
with
welcome.
me.
Thank you for having me.
And so I invite you to have conversations that help advance your ideas forward, and to tune in next time for another Ideas Success TV. I'm Sylvia Henderson, your host, and I invite you to make a great day. Thank you for watching Ideas Success TV. Ideas Success TV is a syndicated production of the Ideas Success Network and Village Connector Media, the People's Prosperity Network. Permission to share, repost, and rebroadcast is freely given, provided it's done without charge of an access fee. If you have questions about this broadcast, or if you'd like to be a part of an upcoming segment, please contact us at Ideas Success TV Contact. Thank you for listening and watching Ideas Success TV.